Hello, you're back with Dave and Tim at a single malt review. And a long time ago, way back in history, we looked at some rum. It was in pure Appleton Estate, 12-year-old. This was back in our first year of doing this. This was 2015. It was December or thereabouts.
It was, and you can't tell at all that we were new on the block with this stuff.
Yeah, we're filming over there in Tim's sunroom.
Mm-hmm.
I have a ponytail and a trilby. Thank goodness that has been consigned to yesteryear. Anyway, we tried Appleton Estate 12, and we were still very new to doing these reviews, very new to trying rum. So our scores were not necessarily
They were terrible.
Yeah.
We reviewed this whiskey out the back of a moving truck.
Well, it was a rum rather than a whiskey, but
rather,
still.
Yes, indeed. We were dreadfully unkind to what is one of the most stalwart bottles of rum on planet Earth. And so this is now a redemption story. We're finally coming back around to the good old Appleton, 12 years old. And this time, 10 years later, damn near it, we're going to do it right.
It'll be good to see. We'll just be looking at the benefit of more experience, much more rum connoisseurship, hopefully.
Well, basically, we might not have gotten smarter or more intelligent in those 10 years. What we've gained data.
Yes.
We're just like the large language model. We are the large reviewers model, and we have just looked at that much more whiskey, rum, everything.
Yeah.
And now we can more intelligently base our scores.
Still, our scores were no slouches before.
They
High
were
70s
not.
and lower 80s.
Indeed, I think mine was an 82,
I believe, and I
Yep.
was 77 or
77.
thereabouts. So it was when we had moved from the, what was it? Like the
we had a 20-point scale.
Yeah.
We were doing single. Well, we I think very rapidly went to a
we went
8.5.
from 10 points up to actual percentages, up to a 100-point system. But yeah. So here's the classic 12-year-old Jamaican rum from Nassau Valley.
Indeed. Ray and Nephew is the company behind these guys, and they do other rums, but Appleton is the one that you're going to see. Appleton is the one that is just there across. That's there on every shelf of rum across the entire globe. It is absolutely prolific, and as a 12-year-old rum that is actually 12 years old, that hasn't been fiddled through a weird Spanish derived Solera system with sort of question marks smoking off the age everywhere, it is absolutely invaluable. This is Appleton being a Jamaican concern. It's produced with sort of the English sensibilities, which is, if something says 12 years old, it is literally sat in a barrel for 12 years old and then been blended and bottled.
I don't share your skepticism about Solera. I know if it's been
Solera's
Solera age,
fine,
it's still nothing.
yeah.
If it says 12, there's nothing less than 12 years old in there.
It's the I suppose it just doesn't have the provenance of
Hasn't
the
sat in the one barrel for that long. Sure. So we have a mixture of pot and column stilled rum, matured in, I suppose, predominantly bourbon.
Predominantly bourbon. Rum's a little tricky. You used to get a lot of brandy casks, but less so with Jamaican rums because they didn't have that French connection through. And now almost certainly bourbon. And this is, as we can see, almost certainly coloured because that's having a bit of a laugh. If that's natural colour, I do not think that's the case here. But people want to see their rich, full-bodied rums as a big, rich, full-bodied rum colour, like you see in your Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever, and so hence this is how it is presented. But it doesn't do it any harm. Similarly, chill filtration will assume probably yes, because it is bottled at 43% and no more. But never mind. However, that is simply where the journey begins, and it ends in a very, very good, honest rum. Oh my goodness! Yeah, right from the off, just extreme pungency. It's the it's everything you come to rum for. People say that I've had arguments with people that say sort of atom for atom, molecule to molecule, Scotch whisky is the most concentrated flavour and aromatic substance in the world. I think they're wrong. I think it's rum because you don't even have to get near this one, and the just absolute sugarcane, brown sugar, molasses pungency is just so evident.
Yes.
So evident, it's absolutely crazy.
It is a rumtacular, concentrated essence of rum, the spirit of the spirit.
Yeah, and you really actually have to tunnel through quite a way
Yeah.
to get to the sort of the fruit layer.
Oh, there
here.
is so much more going on below the surface though. That rum aroma that's made up of cloves, vanilla, a bit of citrus fruit.
Yeah, you hit the spice first, and
yeah.
the clove zone goes on for quite some time. But then you get sort of stewed plums.
Yeah. There's a
You
pinch
get
of
tropical fruit.
cardamom, a touch of coffee even.
Yeah.
Like a little hint of black coffee of espresso.
Very, very, very spicy.
Bit of chocolate.
And that's just the
it's-
aroma.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on. And considering how available this is, I'll do the availability thing later. But man, this is just already so much better than competing rums at its price point. All right, in we go.
It's a perfectly balanced heat. It's warming, prickles, but it's not hot and spicy. It's not too mild to be exciting. Oodles of ginger, hot, buttery Jamaican ginger loaf.
What am I thinking? Brandy butter. Brandy
Ooh.
butter is what that's bringing to mind. Sort of a hot brandy butter.
Yeah.
Like brandied Christmas pudding is in there in spades.
You have hot cross buns with juicy raisins that burst under your bite.
Yeah, liquor soaked raisins. I was going to say rum and raisin, but that's a bit obvious when you're literally doing tasting notes for rum. So, but yeah, the alcoholic raisins that have been floating in something really deadly for a long time.
I don't want to get a bit of synesthesia going here, but it tastes like the smell of fresh pipe tobacco or fresh hookah tobacco. Have you ever smelled like the damp,
The
sweetened
wet
hookah
stuff.
Yeah.
The real goopy, doesn't even look like tobacco
Yeah.
anymore. The sticky,
This tastes slightly of that smell in a good way.
It has been some time since I've been close to anything involved with a hookah, but
Yeah.
I know I get what you're.
I've only ever
coming from there.
smelled a box of the hookah tobacco, but even just a freshly opened tin of pipe tobacco, that same kind of that rich, slightly bitter, earthy tobacco, and there's some of that taste here.
The other thing that I was remiss in not mentioning, coming from Jamaica, it comes from there's every territory that makes rum has different stipulations on how it can be made. Some of them looser, some of them tighter. Jamaica, thankfully, one of the tighter ones, no additives. Thank you. So
Aside from colour, possibly, but no extra sweetening
no
after the fact.
flavourings.
Yeah.
So we have tried. If there's one drink that has been the chief offender, an absolute serial killer of additives, things being tipped into an otherwise perfectly good spirit, it has been rum.
Yeah.
Rum is really it's a rogues gallery of dodgy beverages when you really do a deep dive, and we have seen it all. This one, guaranteed nothing in there. It is just the rum and colouring other academic stuff that's been put on top. In terms of things that alter the flavour, nothing else but the spirit, and importantly, it doesn't have the sugar. And this is we are describing a great rum on its own. Where this rum becomes supreme is in the comparisons. Comparing this rum to any other rum on the shelf next to it, this is just so much realer and so much better. It is insane. You get something with a 12-year-old on the label, it will be and then, as David said, there's nothing wrong with Solera, but it will probably be Solera as opposed to cask aging. And the main problem will be it will just have a dumps truck worth of sugar loaded in on top, and it will be ruined because, as I've espoused in the past, there's only one thing sugar tastes like, and that's sugar.
Yeah.
You don't get different flavors of sugar, and so if you're dumping the same, if you are literally dumping sucrose into your rum, it's going to get homogenized into the same lame, sweet, saucy flavour, no matter where in the world you're making it, and its character is going to be destroyed.
Yeah.
So having something as available as Appleton 12, or its non-age statement namesakes, they are also perfectly good quality rum, just not quite as good as the 12, is just invaluable because the amount of dosing that goes on with competing rums is just insane. There was I think Fat Rum Pirate was the handle of the rum hero that did the work with his titration kit, and actually did the numbers, and some of them are horrifying. Sweeter than Coca-Cola, almost across the board. Just so much sugar swimming around in these things. You can let a glass evaporate, and you have this horrible film in the bottom. It's no, it's not what the rum wants. It's not what we want. And it's not what Appleton gives us. So like I say, the true strength of Appleton is in its comparison to other rums. And I think that's probably what we should have spent more time on when we were reviewing it poorly the first time.
It still has its own inherent sweetness. It has just those flavours of the sugars. There's molasses and
spirit of sugar rather than the presence of sugar. It has the,
in the same way that
the
Scotch
idea.
whiskey can taste sweet despite having practically zero sugar content.
Indeed. So I think the true value of Appleton 12 lies in it's the portal to craft rum. It's the portal to craft rum that anyone can both find and afford, because like I say, no matter almost wherever you are in the world, I'll bet you can hunt down a bottle of this without too much trouble whatsoever. And if you want to go further down the craft rum portal, then buckle in, because it gets very obscure, very expensive, and astonishingly hard to find when you are dealing with, Kill Devil single cask rums and things like that. It gets mental. It goes bananas like that. It's a binary switch. This is the safe side of that zone. You can walk right up to the line of rum nerdulence and peer into the abyss and see if it's for you, and if it's not, I forgive you, because that's a craft rum is a deep dark hole.
It is fantastic on its own. You can mix it or put it in a cocktail, and it'll be the finest mixer or cocktail.
Indeed, it suggests a rather intriguing cocktail involving coffee beans, which we might just try next video, I think. So hang around for that one, but hang around for these updated scores, because here they come. What was once a miserly 82 has gone up. It is now an 88 rum score. What do you think? Is your 77 going to budge? I think it might.
It's going to scoot up a lot higher, up to an 89.
Yeah.
It is just so accessible. It is such an honest... how best to describe? It is a straight-up, no-holds-barred, no-frills rum experience.
It's just a workout.
Well-aged rum, all the flavour, no undue extravagance, no wacky cask influences or anything. It's so straightforward, honest, and full flavoured.
It really is very good. Here's the quote to take away. I think this is the hardest working rum on the planet. I think this one, in terms of rums that show up, put in a day's work, and go home again, this is your man.
Delivers for rum goodness.
It really, really does.
Straight to your face.
And like I say, it is the very precipice upon which you can view the abyss of craft rum without having to fall all the way into it. And that is a valuable thing. This is the guardrail, this one right here. This one won't do you any harm, but you can see where the harm gets done. All right, we have done the harm. We have done the harm for more than 30 minutes, which is, frankly, a crime. So, Slanger, whatever they say in Jamaica, beer can, sounds like bacon. I don't know, it's a word.
Nevertheless, we will see you next time on a single malt review for some more spirity goodness.
And maybe a spicy cocktail. I'll save this one up. Add to the pile there. All right. See you back.